So obviously there's been a horrific shooting in Connecticut at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown. CBS News is reporting 26 people are dead, or 27 people, 26 victims, and the shooter, including 20 children and 6 adults. And I'm going to go ahead and, again, lay out the statistics that the NRA and the gun lobby and the people who don't want to do anything about guns in this country, all the statistics that they either don't know or don't want you to know, we're going to run through them here again. Every day, 30 Americans die from gun violence. Every day. Just yesterday, Michigan passed a law that allows people to carry guns in school. According to a 1997 study, the U.S. homicide rate is 23 times greater than Norway. According to a 2009 study, the U.S. homicide rate is 15 times greater than other modern industrial nations. According to a Martin Prosperity Institute study, the state with the highest gun violence per capita is Alaska, red state, where they have lax gun laws. Here's what the study finds does not lead to violence: illegal drug use, neurotic personalities, high levels of unemployment, and high levels of inequality. Here's what does lead to gun violence: lower average income, lack of education, a deep culture of honor, which is a culture that puts an emphasis on personal reputation, family, and property. It's very prevalent in the South. And conservative voter areas. They have higher gun violence in conservative voter areas where they have more lax gun laws. Now I'll quote from the Richard Florida study on this. Quote, firearm deaths are significantly lower in states with stricter gun control legislation. We find substantial negative correlations between firearm deaths and states that ban assault weapons. If you require trigger locks, you're less likely to have gun violence. If you mandate safe storage requirements for guns, you're less likely to have violence. In the U.S., the probability of being shot is 40 times higher than in Canada. In the U.S., the probability of being shot is 40 times higher than in England. In the U.S., the probability of being shot is 40 times greater than in Germany. In the U.S., there are 100,000 gunshot wounds per year and 31,500 gun deaths per year. The number of murders by firearms in the year 2009 was 9,146. The number of murders in Britain was 648. And if you adjust that number so that both populations would have the same number of people, it would have been 3,240. So still more than 3 times the amount of deaths in the United States. The gun laws on the books in the U.S. are the most lax of all the modernized industrial nations. Like we talked about in Kansas and Nebraska and in a lot of Midwestern places, you have laws that allow people to carry in bars while intoxicated. You have laws that allow people to carry in schools. We have the gun show loophole, which allows people to buy guns without a background check. It's still legal for people on the terrorist watch list to buy guns. The shootings from just 2011 and onward: Gabby Giffords, IHOP shooting, Seal Beach shooting, Health Sauna shooting, Oikos University shooting, Seattle Cafe shooting, Aurora shooting, Sikh Temple shooting, the shooting in New York City, the Oregon Mall shooting, and of course, the elementary school shooting from today. Now you tell me, in that time span, how many mass shootings were there overseas? And from 2011 onwards, when we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, at least 11. How many were in the other modernized industrial nations with stricter gun laws? Look, maybe I'm missing a case, but I'm not missing that many. 75% of the guns used in the mass shooting were purchased legally. That's for all the mass shootings in the U.S. 75% of the guns used during those shootings are purchased legally. I mean, what more empirical evidence do you want? It turns out lax gun laws leads to more gun violence. I'm not saying ban weapons. I'm not. By any stretch of the imagination. I'm not. But would we lower the amount of violent crime? Would we lower the amount of mass shootings? Would we lower the amount of gun violence if we did things like have the assault weapons ban? And again, you don't have to fully ban them. You could allow it at shooting ranges, but the guns have to stay at shooting ranges and you can't take them home. Would we lower violence across the board if we brought back the assault weapons ban, if we banned high-capacity magazines, if we had mandatory background checks every time somebody bought a gun? Absolutely we would! There's no debate!